In this workshop, I'm going to share with you the 3 things that you need in order to get things done. I'm going to show you the brain science and psychology behind it so that you can get things done easier and faster without running into roadblocks. All right, so let's jump into the first one. So the first thing that you want to get underneath your belt and doing on a regular basis is deliberate practice. And this is a psychological term. You can look it up, but I'm going to teach you the key points about deliberate practice. So deliberate practice is about having a purposeful and systematic approach to what you're doing. So you need to have something that's systematic and repetitive and habitual, because you want to improve your performance. That's the idea here. Why are you doing deliberate practice? It's to improve performance. Why does Michael Phelps swim in the pool for thousands of hours? And doing 6 to 8 hours of practice every day? Well, that's because what he's going to do in competition is what he's doing in practice. And it's the same thing here. So you want to practice what you're doing, and then you want to make sure that it's deliberate and intentional, because you're going to become your future self. You're going to become that future identity if you keep doing this kind of deliberate practice. And it's all about the person that you're becoming. And basically, you're getting your reps in. You think about it, if you want to think about it from a standpoint of just getting your reps in, it's what you're doing on a consistent basis. I've talked about the morning and evening rituals that you should have if you're going to be a high performer. If you want excellence, then you need a morning and evening routine. You need to bookend your day. You know who talked about that? It was Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy talked about bookending your day. And if you don't bookend your day, then you don't have a start and a finish. So you don't have intentions at the beginning and then reflection at the end. You need to project outwards, project forwards into your day, and then reflect on that. And there's a system for that. And I'll provide you with a link below to a video where you can watch and you can see how you can do that so that you can get your morning and evening routines dialed in. But the thing is, if you bookend your day and you start seeing progress, because progress is motivation, then deliberate practice is going to work for you, and you can see that it's working for you. So you don't get caught in this vicious loop of doing things occasionally because professionals schedule their day and amateurs let life get in the way. I know you don't want to be an amateur, so you're not going to let life get in your way. So that's deliberate practice. Now, if you want to have deliberate practice, you should have a discipline device. If you haven't seen my 12-week planning tool, my 12-week planner, that's a discipline device. It's my term. It's a discipline device. Why? Because it keeps you focused and it keeps you moving down the path that you want to go, getting things done and not getting caught in life and letting life get in your way. You don't want that to happen, because once you let life get in your way, that becomes habitual. And then anytime that something comes up, you then forget what you're doing, or you let that interrupt you, and that's a distraction. Everything that isn't part of your goals and your focus is a distraction, and you should learn to let it go. Remember the 80-20% of the rule, 80-20 rule? You want to focus 80% of your efforts on the 20% that are producing the greatest results in your life and your business right now. That's where you want to put your attention. Everything else is a distraction. First things first, second things never. Eat the big frog first. There's all these great sayings that talks about putting your highest priority, your most important things first, and letting the urgent stuff go. If you're focusing on the urgent, the important stuff never gets done. And guess what? You don't make progress. If you don't make progress, you don't feel motivated. You see how this is all connected? All right, so that's the first one, deliberate practice. If you get that working for you, then it's going to motivate you and move you forward like never before. The other thing you want to practice is strategic ignorance. Now, strategic ignorance is a psychological term once again, and strategic ignorance, it's blissful, especially for powerful people. You know that if you go talk to somebody who's powerful, you might get 2 minutes of their time, or a minute, or 30 seconds, and that's it. If you don't say certain things that catch their attention, something that's motivational to them, they're out of there. They check out. So you need to think about your life the same way. If you want to be powerful, then you have to practice strategic ignorance. You need to be ignorant about the things that are going on around you. And it's okay to be ignorant about that. Most people are ignorant about the things that are powerful for them, and that's why they are where they are. So let's talk about what strategic ignorance is and how this can be beneficial for you. So the thing is about when it comes to strategic ignorance, it's about ignoring the things that aren't going to move you progressively towards your goal. Because as I said, progress is motivation. It's the greatest motivator. If you're making progress and you can see incremental progress and you can see it and feel it, you're feeling good, then that's an indicator that you're moving in the right direction, and it's going to pull you forward. You always want it to pull you forward. Let your future self pull you forward. Let your future identity pull you forward. Let projects and inspirations and relationships pull you forward. If they're not pulling you forward, then you can assess them and see whether they're a good fit or not. So the thing about strategic ignorance is that you need to cut out and decide, because decide means to cut out. That's why the origins of the word. If you're going to cut yourself off from something, you decide, I'm no longer going to do something. I'm no longer going to let life get in my way. Life can get in your way time and time again. Family, friends, situations, problems, they're all there. They're coming at you all the time. And I deal with this all the time. In fact, when I'm working with clients, I will mind map their problems so that we can figure out an outlet for them. Recently I had a client who was trying to get rid of a property because that property would alleviate a lot of pressure and they would have then cash to invest in their business and their life. Well, guess what? We mapped it out and we came up with a solution for them to go to the property and to visualize it being sold and then take action based on that, but do it on a consistent basis. Walk over to the property, visualize it being sold, picture the buyer coming. This happened with me years ago, and I told them this story, that I was selling a house and I was selling it myself, and I had one buyer express interest, and they didn't even want to pay the asking price. So what did I do? I let them put their offer in, and that offer would expire, I think, within 72 hours. And then I proceeded to picture and trust and know that the right buyer was going to come through. Because if you know the saying, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we don't see. So I trusted that this buyer was going to come through. And what did I do? I invited them in. On the day when the first offer was going to expire, I got a call from somebody and they wanted to come see the house. And if you've ever sold a house before or had realtors, you have to vacate the house and make sure it's clean and all sorts of things like that. Well, it was around dinner time, getting late in the evening. We have 3 kids. They're all young and we were not about to leave. But they were willing to come, and they came. We just stepped out of the house for a little bit, let them walk around. And within 15 minutes of them leaving the house, the realtor knocked on the door and said, they'd like to put an offer in, and they exceeded the asking price significantly, and the realtor indicated that he could have the paperwork to us the next day, deposit, everything completed. Perfect, just perfect for what we needed. So that's a way of ignoring what's going on and saying, this is what I want, I'm going to get it. But also, if you use this discipline device that I was just talking about, this 12-week planner, that is a really, really powerful way to ensure that you practice strategic ignorance, because now you're ignoring everything but what you're working on. You have tactics inside of your planner, you're taking action on those, you're getting them done, and you're making progress, and you're feeling good. And as you make progress and you feel good, you keep moving forward, and then guess what? Eventually, you'll achieve your goal. All you have to do is complete those tactics at a level of 85% or above on performance, and you achieve them. So that's strategic ignorance, and it's powerful. If you want to keep your power, be ignorant. If something's going on in the world and you don't like it, there's something in the political world going on, just ignore it. Fortunately for me, I've ignored all the recessions, and I've never been part of them because I chose not to participate. And you can do the same thing. Just go out and get work and make sure that you're valuable. Always be the first hired, last fired type person, and then you never get let go. Nobody ever wants to let you go because you're so valuable. So those are 2 psychological terms: deliberate practice and strategic ignorance. And if you get those working for you, and like I said, if you get your morning and evening routines working for you, then you can practice deliberate. That's your deliberate practice, and it also helps you to become strategically ignorant as well at the same time. Now, the last thing that I want to share with you is something that I've termed uncommon accountability. So uncommon accountability is something unique to me because it's what I do. But if you think about uncommon accountability, if you're going to have an accountability partner, you need somebody who's going to be reliable, right? You need somebody who's going to tell you the truth, somebody who's going to be direct with you. So you might say, well, what kind of person is that? Well, I call them kind, because a kind person tells you the truth, right? They don't sugarcoat things. They tell you the honest truth. And, you have to face your demons then. You have to face your fears and take action. So someone who's kind is someone who has uncommon accountability. They will tell you the truth. And this is something that is so powerful. I had my mentor, Bob Proctor. He told me the truth. He told me to make 3 phone calls every single day and offer my services to somebody who would buy it every single day, 3 times a day, every day for 30 days. No weekends off, just go. And he said, do this, and if you don't complete it, don't tell me. At the end of the day, text me and tell me that you've completed it, and that's it. So that was amazing to have him as an accountability partner. But it only lasted 30 days. That was the agreement. After that, I was on my own again. So I didn't have uncommon accountability with Bob. What I had was limited accountability. And it only lasted for 30 days. So then I was back to my own resources and my own self-accountability, which is not really that reliable. You need somebody who's there, who's got your back, who's going to support you. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to figure things out on your own, and some days you might get things done, some days you might not. And think of accountability like this. If you're going to make a commitment to get something done, if you're saying, I'm going to do this, you draw a line in the sand and say, I am doing this. You draw a line and you say, I am doing this. I'm going to where I want to go. I'm getting my goals done, and I'm going to live a great life, and I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have a life worth living and a life worth dying for. If you make that kind of commitment, then a commitment is a standard. It's the same thing as a standard. So now you're setting standards for yourself. You're saying, I'm somebody who's reliable, accountable, and I'm going to persist. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to get things done. Why? Not because it matters to anybody else, but it matters to me, and I want to get it done, and it's going to feel good. I see this all the time. People come to me and they want more money. Brad came to me. He wanted to hit 7 figures in his auto detailing business. He did end up increasing his revenues, but ultimately what he did get is a better health and better relationships with his family, because he took 36 pounds off his body, so then he had more energy, and then when he got home at the end of his day, he had the energy to go play with his daughters, and that really was significant. The money is fantastic, but having a life, way more important. Money is okay, it does get you what you need, but having a life is really significant. So with uncommon accountability, what you need is somebody to hold your feet to the fire. Somebody like Bob, he held my feet to the fire, and he told me to text him every day, telling him that I did 3 out of 3 calls, or maybe more. Getting 3 was tough some days, and I sometimes called on family members just to tell them about my product and service, just so that I could get it done. I committed to it, and I did it. So the other thing is that if you want something that's going to help you move forward and get things done, you need a commitment device. Now, a commitment device can be a contract, just a contract, a simple contract where you commit that you're going to do something and get it done, and you sign it and you date it, and then you go ahead and get it done. And then you hire somebody or get somebody with, this kindness factor, and they're going to help you with an uncommon accountability. But a commitment device, when somebody has you sign something and you commit to it, then you are fully in. I've done this with clients where I had them write a check for $1,000, and then they told me somebody that they didn't like, and let's say it was somebody in politics like Donald Trump. They didn't like them, and let's say they didn't like them. They wrote the check out to Donald Trump, and then they put that in an envelope, and they had to date it and stamp it and put it in an envelope. And if within the period of time that they said they were going to accomplish something, if it was 30 days and they didn't accomplish it, they had to mail that check. That's a commitment device. That's one that has money involved, but there's other ones too. If you don't accomplish something that you said you're going to do, perhaps you have to do 30 push-ups, and maybe maximum you could do is 10. So you have to do 3 times the amount now. So a commitment device really works, and with the uncommon accountability, you can get things done. You need somebody who's going to back you up, who's got your back. And like I do, and this is what I do, I always have my clients back. I'm always supporting them. They are seen, they are heard, they are understood. And then they're given solutions. If you can break things down and boil things down, that's the key here to uncommon accountability, is making sure that you're breaking things down and boiling things down and taking steps, right? And as a part of deliberate practice, this is part of deliberate practice. You're just chunking things down, breaking things down. Ben Hogan, the greatest golfer, one of the greatest golfers, he did that. He chunked golf down so that he could just take incremental steps and get better and better and better at each step. Just like Michael Phelps did in swimming, like anybody does in any sport or any business that they're doing. They just chunk things down until they become really good at something. They develop habits around it, and then they don't have to think about it anymore. Just like I've been doing a morning and evening practice for probably 6 to 10 years. I'm not even sure when I started, but it's routine. It's something I do. It doesn't matter where I am, what's going on. I always have that morning and evening routine. There have been times when I was in Florida at a hotel. We had this small little balcony, maybe a couple feet wide, and I was on there running on the spot in the morning. And that was my commitment to doing my morning routine. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. I always make sure that I get that done. So these are the 3 factors you want to focus on: deliberate practice, strategic ignorance, and uncommon accountability. If you get those 3 things dialed in, then getting things done, achieving your goals, making progress is inevitable. It cannot be done any other way. You can't avoid achieving your goals if you have these things working for you. Why? Because now you're focused. You have a deliberate practice, you're doing something consistently, you have strategic ignorance, so you're focused, you have blinders on, and nothing can get in your way. You will not let anything get in your way. And then you have an accountability partner. So you're committing to things and you will show up. Why? Because fear of failure, fear of criticism is going to hit you right in the face. It's going to punch you in the face, and you will not show up and not get things done. That's how I work. This is what I do. It's phenomenal when you bring the best, the proven winners, the proven systems together. What I've done, I've curated all the best systems in the world so that you can take them and apply them to your life and your business and get things done and not waste time. Do you have another 5 years to see how things are going to go? Or do you want to accomplish something in the next 6 to 12 months that's going to give you the freedom and the free will and free attention in your life and your business? What's better? Is it applying these systems and getting things going, or is it just figuring it out on your own and doing lots of trial and error? Somebody like me has done all the heavy lifting. I've done all the research. I've done all the work. I've done all the studying. Step in and lean in and ask for help from somebody like me. So again, these are the 3 practices. If these resonated with you and you have some questions about them, or if you want to implement them, of course, send me a direct message and I'd be happy to give you some tips and advice. But for now, if you're not going to do anything other than what I suggested here today, just scroll down below and have a look for that morning practice. That's key. If you don't own your morning, you don't own your day. And that's a definite. Every successful business leader in the world, or any successful person at all, has a morning ritual. And if they are really successful, they have an evening one as well. So grab that, put it to work. Otherwise, send me a direct message if you're looking for some advice or some guidance or some coaching, and I'll see what I can do to help you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.